from PRX.
All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep. And if you listen to the show, you already know how important a good night's sleep is, right? How it sets you up to have a better day. But I can tell you what, like your mattress plays a big part in that, right? Being comfortable, having a mattress that fits how you sleep, your feel preferences, what positions you like to sleep in, especially with the changing of the seasons. That's what I love about my Helix. I took the Helix quiz. I got matched with the right mattress because I don't like to be hot. I don't like to be stuffy. I sleep on my side. I sleep on my stomach, and my current Helix is a huge upgrade from the mattress I was temporarily sleeping on. So think about what you're sleeping on now, and then take the Helix quiz, see what mattress you get matched with. You could take it at helixsleep.com/sleep. It'll match you with the perfect mattress based on your personal preferences and sleep needs. It makes buying a mattress easy, and that Helix mattress will be delivered right to your door with free shipping in the U.S. You can rest easy with seamless returns and exchanges. And the Happy with Helix guarantee offers a risk-free, customer-first experience designed to ensure you're completely satisfied with your new mattress. There's a 120-night sleep trial, and a study they ran found that 82% of those involved saw an increase in their deep sleep cycle while sleeping on a Helix mattress. So get over there. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep to see the latest offer for Sleep With Me listeners. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for current offers. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody.
This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster who's here to take you on we're going on a sleepy trek, which trek never sounds like trek like a walk, but more of a meander. But we'll be talking about an episode of Star Trek, and it should be like a voyage. I guess we could say we're going on a voyage. We'll be voyagers together tonight. Off to dreamland. Whether you're a Voyager fan or you're a fan of voyages, or you're just looking for a distraction, welcome to Sleep With Me, by the way. If you're new, you're coming back for a visit, or you've been here all along, or anywhere in between, I'm really glad you're here. I'm here to kind of try to do my best to keep you company, take your mind off of stuff, see if I can help you fall asleep, and strive to bring you sleepy joy and delight in the deep, dark night, and just to try to help you out, so you could get some comfort or some ease, or you could drift off into dreamland. Now, the show's a bit different. It's normally a little bit silly. I guess it's kind of silly. I like saying Voyager, or there's I don't know where, I think it was maybe in the Canada Pavilion in Epcot Center, there was a band with the French Voyagers, or however you say it. I think that's pretty close. I mean, at least for me, it's about as close as you'll get, a band with that in there. And then there's a Fantastic Voyage. But yeah, I'm here, we'll be on an hour-long voyage together, with full of meanders. So yeah, the show, I guess that's one thing that's different. Many podcasts go on meanders, and a lot of times it's unintentional. And in this show, it's both intentionally unintentional and unintentionally intentional. That could be another I think that would be a Bob Fosse style number, the dancing to intentionally unintentional, unintentionally intentional. Could be a really good, I don't know, should we use that? I don't think we could close out before the intermission with that. But maybe we could, because it's set forth the inevitable conclusion of Act 2 or Act 3. I guess are we in a 3-act structure or a 2-act structure? I mean, I'm in my 3rd or 4th act. But you're like intentionally unintentional. It definitely has a ring to it. Intentionally unintentional sounds better than unintentionally intentional. Has a nice, it's nice and syllabic. Intentionally unintentional. How come, I mean, that's always a question I say. How come that sounds better than the reverse? And how come no one gives compliments? Like, you're very syllabical. I love how you say I'm no, syllabical. Well, that's not a word. Yeah, it is. You have wonderful syllable. You have wonderful, you're actually a word. I'm speaking to you. Don't know if you knew that. Intentionally unintentional. And you're just wonderfully syllabic. It's just my pronunciation is a bit syllabic, not S-L-O-B, not syllabic. So it's just my pronunciation can be sloppy. I'm just, that's one of my, I think because I'm trying to put people to sleep. But anyway, holy cow, this is I already forgot this is the very beginning of the podcast, not even the intro. So I'm glad you're here. Whatever brought you here, I hope I can help you out. What we got coming up is support, because paying for the show for most people is optional. Then a long, meandering instrument to ease you into bedtime and help you wind down. And then about 25 minutes from now, we'll be covering an episode of, I believe, Star Trek Voyager. But I haven't recorded the episode yet. So I'm glad you're here. You are so welcome here. I really hope we can help you out. I yearn and strive and really hope I can help you fall asleep. And if this podcast changes your life on a regular basis and you want to be a part of this thing, because you'd miss the show if it was gone, you want to be a part of it for you and everybody else that listens, you could support a sponsor or support the show directly. So this message is for you. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, ZocDoc. And we all know that finding a primary care physician or doctor for something specific really does feel like finding a diamond in the rough. You want someone in network that's nearby. They have open time slots, but that's just a start, right? We all deserve someone who's going to really listen to us, make us feel comfortable and heard, explain things clearly. Maybe even remember, by the way, maybe have some adult lollipops. I'm just saying. Or they take the time to make you laugh. And here's the thing. I'm so happy that we work with ZocDoc now because I have new insurance. So you got to check out ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love. And we're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 150,000 providers across all 50 states. Whether you're looking for dermatology, dentistry, primary care, eye care, or any of the other 200-plus specialties offered on ZocDoc, you can easily search by specialty or symptom to build the care team that's right for you. You want to see a doctor in person? Great. Prefer a video visit? That's fine too. You can view thousands of verified patient reviews to give you a real sense of who your doctor is. As a matter of fact, just this morning, someone recommended a doctor to me, and I looked them up on ZocDoc, and I have the reviews set aside to read through them and see, hey, is this going to be a good fit for me? In the app, you could see the doctor's real-time availability. You could click to book instantly. You don't have to play phone tag. There's no waiting around. And those are a couple ways I actually use ZocDoc. I hear from listeners when they move, when they get new insurance. So you got to use it too. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/sleep. to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/sleep. ZocDoc.com/sleep. Thanks, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots. Before we get into the show, this goes out to all-night listeners. All-night listeners, this message is specifically for you. Are you an all-night listener? Like you queue up episode after episode after episode every night? When you start that, does something settle in for you? Does it give you something like relief, comfort? Does it put like half a smile on your face, knowing your bore bud's going to be there in the deep, dark night? Or Scoots is a habit for you? You start the show, you press play, and you know I have you covered. That tonight, you and I were in it together. I hope you feel that or something like it, something good. Because if you're an all-night listener, yeah, we are in it together, right? How many episodes a month? 100 episodes a month? Whatever it is, you probably heard me asking for support on the show before. And maybe you don't think about it too often, or maybe you're just used to me playing all night long, and I'm kind of a drone at this point. But it sounds like right now, tonight, the show's a part of your life, and you're listening to me, and you're hearing me, and you might be the only one, the only all-night listener paying attention right now. So I want you to really think about, like, what would it be like if you didn't have the podcast to listen to? Like, you went to reach for it to press play, and the show wasn't there anymore. Like, isn't something you listen to and don't listen to for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a night, is it worth paying for? Would you miss it if it was gone? Because I need one person that's an all-night listener tonight to make that connection. And I need you to think about supporting the show right now tonight. And no matter what level you support it at, it'll change the future of the podcast if you support it tonight. That's at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. If the podcast is worth it to you, do it tonight. And if you're not in a place where you can afford $7 a month, $60 a year, do Surprised by Scoots. It's just as a good way to support the show. But one of those two choices, if you're an all-night listener, right now, tonight, will ensure the podcast will be here for you tomorrow night. Thanks. Oh, Mystery Bard, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support your scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And if you listen to Sleep With Me all night long, you fall asleep fast during the intro, you listen 5, 6, 7 episodes a week, you've been listening over 3 years. You know, we designed Sleep With Me Plus with listeners like that in mind. There's versions of the podcast built specifically for those styles of listening on Sleep With Me Plus. Ad-free full episodes, story-only episodes, audiobook-style compilations, all intro episodes. And you can get all that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Then you can fall asleep faster, listen all night long. And not only do you get the peace of mind from the show, you get the peace of mind the podcast will be there for you and for everybody else that needs it. And you could sign up and check it out with a 7-day free trial. You can get it free by being Surprised by Scoots. And when I say this next part, you'll know because it's because of your support. So what do you say? Because of your support, we get on with the show. Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep, but we do with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. And what I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. That could be thoughts on your mind, thoughts about the past, the present, the future, thoughts that are just coming up at bedtime. Thoughts, they say, is there a better time? Could we discuss this at another time? Or where'd you even come from? And one thing I've learned, and not to already go off topic again this early, is that kind of tonal shift, where normally I would say, where'd you even come from one way. But as I've made the show, and only sometimes can I have that wonderful side of the tonal. Hey, where'd you even come from? Huh? You're a thought, with a little bit of kindness, a little bit of amusement, a little bit of curiosity, but also a preference that I say, because is there any chance we could cover this tomorrow? And most of the time, it's a no. No, this is really important right now. Okay, all right. So even that pause is kind of in that same thing. That's kind of, I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, and it's only something I've learned through making the show and hearing from all the people that listen. So it could be thoughts, it could be feelings about those thoughts, or feelings that are just there, or also feelings making an appearance. They never tend to be a duo. They come in more of an octo or a septo or a septa, because they make multiple appearances. I didn't even know. Do my thoughts and feelings need to be combined in only prime numbers? And also have a lot of thoughts and feelings about prime numbers. But they are prime. Oh boy, are you primed? Primed for bedtime. Even though you say, hey, could we but that's what this show does, keep you company and take your mind off of stuff. Where those prime number feelings and thoughts, you really are prime here. Holy cow. So glad you're here. Thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be going through something. You could be getting over something. You could be in the middle of something. Whatever it is, I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off of it so you could fall asleep versus putting you to sleep. But the reason I run through some of that stuff is so you get a sense you're in good company, that you're with other people who know, I call it the deep dark night for a reason, who've experienced non-positive time with getting to sleep, staying asleep, falling asleep, waking up, that you're with other people that share your feelings about bedtime, or are closely aligned with them, or who want to foster the sense of caring for whatever it is that's keeping you awake. Because I've been there, and a lot of other people have been there, including people around the world listening to me right now with you, who came here for a similar reason that brought you here. And some of those listeners have been listening to the show for a long time, or they listen to a lot of episodes, and they are in their bed or winding down somewhere, and they are thinking fondly of you. They're sending you caring. They're rooting for you. And they're hoping this podcast can help you like it helped them. They're sending their kindness across the deep, dark night. And there's other listeners who are receiving this kindness along with you. If you're open to it, you don't even have to. You could let it. This is the one podcast where you could be like a rubber, like any kind of, you say, no, I prefer if that kind of just bounce. Right now, I'm not ready for it. Let it bounce off me. And this, I mean, I don't want to brag, but I think this is one of the few places that would foster, oh yeah, you don't even have to accept our kindness. You could let it reflect off you. And you could pick it up later if you want to. It'll be there. It's shelf, like if it bounces off you on the floor, it's floor stable. Because it's neither a solid nor plasma nor a gas nor a liquid. It's kind of, it's totally like, It's resilient. And we're glad you're here because we've been there or someplace similar and we get it. And that's it. And you can, if you stick around, the show helps you out. You could be on both of those sides. You could be sending the kindness and receiving it at the same time, or saying maybe later, I'm not really open to kindness right now or any of that other stuff. And I say, that's totally fine. You're like, this show is built on a foundation of that comes from the deepest part of me. I said, no, I prefer not I prefer if you don't smile at me. Please, what if I just watch your kindness from, not quite a mile, but close, like 100 yards. I'll be 100 yards from the party, and I'll be enjoying. Don't worry, I'll be enjoying myself. That's kind of what my insides are like sometimes. And so I'm glad you're here. And the way this show works beyond that, beyond me believing you deserve a good night's sleep, you deserve enough rest so your life is more manageable tomorrow and on a regular basis. You deserve a bedtime you don't have to dread, that you could look forward to or at least feel neutral about. And, this podcast could be a part of that for you because that's why we make it. And the way it works is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. I go off topic. I get mixed up. I forget what I was talking about. And then I go, talk about superfluously sentimental. Oh, no, it was something else, intangibly inconsequential. No, it wasn't that either. But whatever it was, I go off the topic. I get mixed up. My voice is not traditionally soothing. And this show is very, very different. I already mentioned it, but when you get here, whatever brought you here, if it was a search or you found the show by accident or recommendation, you're probably skeptical and doubtful, and you probably had some sort of reasonable expectation of what a sleep podcast is. And this show kind of defies the logic in that way. It is a bit incomprehensible at first, and that's normal, right? Why wouldn't you be skeptical if you've had trouble sleeping and you tried a bunch of other stuff, you paid for a bunch of other stuff, you had things that worked for you for 2 nights and then never worked again if you're like me, or you thought you had it covered and then it came back. Like, why wouldn't you be doubtful that this podcast could help you? And then if you expected a sleep podcast to be reasonable, right? I thought you were going to do, I thought it was going to be like this. That is a reasonable expectation. This show is very different because I've just found that this show, over what we've learned over the years, is like it works in a different way. And I'll explain some of that, but it does take getting used to. It does take 2 or 3 tries for most listeners to decide, oh, wait a second. The first time I listened, it was not what I expected. I don't think I liked it. Now, I wasn't sure about you either. And then on the second try, I was like, I don't know. This is, there is something about, and then the third time I fell asleep. And now there are people that get it right away. And then there's people that the show never, it's not for you, right? That could be, you could already know that right now, or you might be on your second, third, fourth try and you're like, nah, this is just not going to work. And that's okay too. I have a website set up just for you, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. And that has other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff on there, so you could still find something that will help you out. And you just answer a couple questions to take you a list of other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff. So try that. But otherwise, give it 2 or 3 tries, see how it goes. This is a podcast that you don't listen to directly. You kind of listen, or you kind of just barely listen. It's like a TV on in the other room, or a show streaming under your pillow, or elevated background noise, or a lecture, or a seminar, or a class, or a presentation. Like something that you just can't even stay awake to, even if you wanted to. But you could also listen to, but the thing is you don't have to listen. So it's kind of like an out-of-focus picture you could look at, or clouds, or trees, and the wind blowing the trees. There's something nice about it, but it's a kind of non-specific nice. There's something engaging about it, but it's kind of like a broader, loose engagement. Sand passing through your hands, nice water between your toes. But yeah, that also takes some getting used to. I don't know. I always, when I was a kid, it was like those times I could hear a TV in the house or a cabin in particular that we stayed at a couple times when I was a kid. And I could hear the TV, but it wasn't so loud. It was distracting, but I knew my grandma and my parents were watching like tennis or something. And it was soothing to me. So something like that. It's also, this is a sleep podcast. It's been around for 13 years, but it's not meant to put you to sleep. There's no pressure to fall asleep with this show. I'm going to be here over an hour, so you don't have to think about, what, I got to be asleep in 20 minutes? No, I'll be here. There's people listening who can't sleep at all or who need a break during the day. Or need something to listen to while they're at work, or they wake up and they need something. I'm here to the very end for them and for you. Or if you're in one of those groups, I'm here for you. Like, I'll be here for the whole show, whether you're awake or asleep, to the very end, to keep you company and take your mind off stuff, to be your friend. That's my job, to be your bore friend, your bore bay, your bore sib, your boreman, your Boris Borloff. Your Borby, your Borman, your chairman of the boards, your best boar friend forever, to just hang out with you and talk for your benefit if you need to listen to me, or you need to you know, me to be here, or you want to just listen like I'm at a mumble. That's what the boar friends here. That wasn't even a sentence. I mean, that's like partial sentences are one of my, I don't even know. I don't have a French phrase. I wish I had a French phrase for that. But yeah, I don't. But yeah, that's discover A. So you avoid, like, I got even my track mixed up. Anyway, I'm here to just hang out with you like a bud. So that's what a boyfriend does. The only other thing I like to run through is the structure of the show, because the show is structured very specifically to benefit the maximum amount of people it can, but it is adjustable. So I'll just run through that, because in case you're new, you also have an expectation of how the show might be structured, and it might be different. So the show starts off with a greeting, friends, man, and binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Then I see a bunch of other stuff to kind of set the mood so you feel seen and welcomed in. You know that I'm striving to bring you sleepy joy and delight, or sleepy delight, and that I might not get there, but that's my intention, and to help you fall asleep. So you say, okay, should check that show out. Then there's support, so the paying for the show is optional. So if you're new, or you can't support the show, or you don't want to support the show, or you only listen when you're going through a tough time for a couple months, that paying for it is optional, but it's not restrictive. The show is out here for you. So that's what the support is about. And then there's a long meandering intro separate from the support, which is a show within a show. Takes me 15 to 25 to 30 minutes to get through the intro. And every intro is different so that it follows a familiar structure every time, but it's fresh. So it's like the time we hang out. I'm going to try to explain what the podcast is if you become a regular listener, but I'm going to get off topic and get mixed up in a new way every time, or a new version of a new way every time, so that you have this familiar thing that's also has variety, because I don't know, that's just one of the things when I talked about whatever brought you here, everything else around sleep, it got repetitive and then stopped working for me. And that can even happen now. And then I have to kind of change things up. And so every intro is different, but every intro is not designed to put you to sleep. if for some reason you fall asleep fast, please consider supporting the show, because there's no other way. It's like one of the few paradoxes of making a sleep podcast. But most listeners are winding down while they listen to the intro. They're getting ready for bed. They're in bed getting comfortable. They're petting their pets. They're doing some other chill activity. And they're getting eased into bedtime. So the intro is part of that wind down to give you a buffer between being awake and asleep, and to help carry you off into dreamland. Kind of to be, like, I don't know, like a transition, but it's also like a sleepover before we go to sleep. Everybody's hanging out together at a distance. And I don't know, it just gives you a nice way to ease into bedtime. If you decide you like the show, but you don't like the intros, we have a version of the podcast with stories called Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me. You can find it at any podcast app. And, or if you don't like the ads, or you want more story-only stuff, or more stuff, you get that in Sleep With Me Plus. But for most people, this is like our wind-down time together. Then there'll be support. Then we'll talk about tonight. We'll talk about an episode of Star Trek, and we do it in a very intangible way. I don't know, oblique way. So you may find you really like these episodes. And then we put out a variety of different stuff so that there's always something a little bit different for you, so you can see what you like. So as you become a regular listener and you get preferences, there's so much out there that you could build playlists of what works best for you. Or you could just listen to stuff as it comes out. And all told, I'll be here for about an hour, and I'm really glad you're here. I work really hard. I yearn and strive. We really want to help you fall asleep. It takes, a team of people to make this show. And we all love making it because we know it helps so many people. And if you want to be a part of that, right, like the podcast has made your life better, and you would miss it if it was gone. It's made your life incredibly better. And you want it around for you and for everybody else. Here's the ways you could be a part of this thing and help us keep it going. Hey, everybody, Scoot. This is Scoot. This Scoot's message goes out to you. If you already support the show on Sleep With Me Plus, you should not be hearing this message. And if you listen all night long or you fall asleep fast, these kind of messages may get in your way of the show. But if you already support the show, make sure all your Sleep With Me Plus feeds are set up in a podcast app. Because if you're hearing this, you're listening to the ad-supported version of the show, which is hosted in a different place than our Sleep With Me Plus content, which has no ads. You get those full ad-free episodes. You get ad-free story-only episodes. You get all the bonus episodes, Bore Friends and Bore Besties. You get those all-night audiobook-style compilations, postage of super deluxe episodes, all intro episodes. So please take some time to set it up. All you need to do is go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, log into your account, and add all the podcasts to your podcast app. If you need more help, reach out to our support team, support@supercast.com. And if ad-free full episodes or ad-free story-only episodes, hundreds of them sound like they'd fit your listening style better, try a 7-day trial. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, or get surprised by Scoots. Thanks, everybody. Everybody, this is Scoots, and this is another episode of Snore Trek, I guess. Sleep with TNG, but originally is what we started, but now it's Snore Trek. And in this kind of season of episodes, we've been covering kind of something influenced by holodeck stuff that's intrigued me for so long. And then as I was working on last year, the Get Basso season, the whole idea, like a Data's experience and then Moriarty's experience. And this all came from a curiosity of what if, or what happened to the Moriarty drive, which is not super important if you're new or you're not listening. It's just this idea of sentient beings or digital sentient beings or quantum sentient beings and Data's personhood in the past, and that it was Data the caretaker of this drive. What is going, if more is Moriarty, this simulation of Moriarty, in this particular episode of TNG way back, who then got placed in a drive where kind of he would create his own world almost, or was a limitless world, or almost near limitless world. All this thing kind of intrigued me, and it's not just me, because when you look at this breadth of work through all, the original Trek episode we covered, and then Grapes of Khan, and then through the lens of all of these different people participating in the Star Trek universe and creating it and writing it and enjoying it, or as a passerby, which for most of the time I was. I mean, as a kid, I went to Star Trek movies, and Khan was a big one for me. But it wasn't until the Mystery Bard and I talked about TNG that it really became the Next Generation. And then I started really enjoying it. But this was more about, I guess it was a bit of a rabbit hole. And then I kind of was seeing all these different episodes, and an endless amount of them. And the last episode kind of touched on who might try to be in control of this drive, even though we didn't talk about an episode, because we were talking about the episode. And I know there was just a movie about this on one of the services. But this particular episode is another series I may have seen in passing one or two episodes, but I'm not familiar with it at all. In fact, and I know there's a lot of big fans of it, and again, Deep Space Nine, and then this is Voyager, have kind of called to me, and I'll probably return to them in my free time, and then maybe we'll return to them again. It is important, though, if you just happen to be listening to this and you're like a Trek super fan, a Sleep With Me Trek super fan, to support the show in general, not just for the specific TNG content, but let me know that you like the TNG content. And that's okay if you only listen to the TNG content and you come and go. The free podcast is probably best for you. But yet sometimes people are like, I'll only support the show when you do TNG content. That kind of hampers our ability to even make the TNG content on a regular basis. But if you're an ongoing supporter of the show and your favorite stuff is TNG, and you kind of let me know, that makes it a little bit easier, because all of our planning and planning of resources is longer term, because we make episodes kind of pretty far out. But I do like it, but it's important, like, to support the show if you really love these episodes, because they are a little bit less, the audience is very specific, even though I think these are very sleepy. I'll also say that if you're a Voyager fan, you may want to skip this episode, because I am totally unfamiliar with this series. Like Deep Space Nine, I think I had read stuff about it, and maybe maybe I covered it in some other way in the past. Like I had a base level of familiarity. The only things I know about Voyager is the shape of the ship and Captain Janeway. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, the doctor from this episode, which was the star of the episode, he I think made an appearance in a movie or something, but I'm not that I covered, but I don't, that's as far as it goes. And that there's someone on the ship that was in a movie that I just rewatched, like a kind of class. I mean, to me, a classic film about a comet. And I'm like, man, like I was rewatching it, and I was like, so anyway. Okay, so I'm going to cover the episode, but pretty tangentially again. This is season 7, episode 20, author. But I will be referring to crew members in a general sense, because I don't I mean, I learned a little bit about this episode, and this is another really good self-contained episode. You don't really have to know anything to really get a lot out of it. And again, much like a Measure of a Man with Data, this is a powerful episode that starts, I think what we could safely assume is a change, a big change. So let's get going here. So the episode opens, I think, I'm not sure. On the holodeck, there's a lot of questions I don't have answers to. And the doctor is doing, at first I thought, is this how every episode opens? But this is like a cool open. And the doctor's kind of using, is this purple prose? It says, yeah, in the beginning, there was darkness, emptiness of a matrix waiting for the light. Then a single photon flares into existence. Then another. Soon thousands more. Then we're watching that happen on the screen. So it is like watching a painting or construction or 3D printing via photons. And maybe this is how things are created through the holodeck and the replicator. Because we start to see someone appear. Optotronic pathways connect. Subroutines emerge from the stuff. Holographic consciousness is born. So he's a holographic being with consciousness. And he's wearing a leisure jacket or a robe. Is that paisley robe? Like a paisley robe? Or like a relaxing jacket or pajama jacket. I guess it's a robe. And he sits down. He's talking again about potential and challenges. He picks up a feathered pen, sits at a desk. He's right-handed. And he's writing in the first page of a blank book. He also has a pipe nearby. And talking about the great potential he'll fulfill. Then, in uniform, but a much different body language, like the smoking jacket writer character was very serious, but then he comes on, the doctor in uniform with the teal top Starfleet uniform, comes in, he's smiling and kind of gleeful or joyous, is how I'd describe him, or pleased with his creative work, because he says, save revisions, open chapter 1. And he smiles again, looks back and forth, like a big, big smile. And then the show opens. So we have the opening of the show. And, we'll get past that just because we want to get to this episode's going to be longer than, and the first thing we see in the version I'm watching, 2 minutes and 31 seconds in, is the Voyager coming towards us, and it's Captain's Log Captain's Log, let me rewind here. Captain's Log 54732.3. And it looks like the ship number is NCC 74656, 74656 approximately. As it moves over the left-hand side of our screen, slows down. And now, oh boy, this is what's cool. And not intentional. Like, I didn't know it would be this deep. Okay, because one of the choices I made was to do more general episodes around these themes versus Barclay only. Because originally it was like, well, Reg Barclay could be one of the people involved in this whole drive. But that I ended up taking in a different direction because Barclay didn't appear, I don't think so, in the Bessos episode. But we get a immediate nod, which is cool. I think cool for the fans, for the creators, and then for us discovering this. Captain Janeway, Commander Janeway says, we're finally ready to begin Operation Watson. And we kind of, we pan across to the bridge or engineering. Let me see. They have the deflector ready. They got they're picking up a phase tachyon beam. So it's engineering is like mustard orange, I guess. So we have two members of engineering and then two people with the maroonish red. They're triaxulating and coding. They bring it up on screen. And it's fuzzy at first. It's Reginald Barclay, Lieutenant Barclay at Starfleet Command, which to someone like me is immediate good news, even though I kind of knew during my research, but that was like a year ago, right, that Barclay had recovered. Like, I had to follow a similar path to Barclay and recover from something that I couldn't not do, even though it wasn't good for me. And actually, just like Barclay caused me a lot of non-positive experiences. But it's Barclay and then someone else familiar. Who is this? They're trying to get a message. I'm on it. And it's Captain Janeway. It's a pleasure to talk to you in person. It's the Admiral. They're in San Francisco, Barclay and the Admiral. And this is established the first transatlantic comlink. So this is a big deal. A place in the history books. So I don't know for Voyager if this is their first regular contact, but it kind of seems like they're setting something up, which we do see in this genre at other times. So it's really well done. Yeah, and he says, hey, I can't take all the credit. Harry and Seven suggests bouncing off the quantum singularity. It's going to be a Daystrom prize. And no time for small talk. We only get 11 minutes a day. 11 minutes are better than none. So great job, Reg. And he's already he's still channeling his inner Reg Barclay. So, and you got to work with your thing. One other thing. Oh, Mr. Barclay's got a small gift for you. You and your crew. We're going to send it over, and it's an image from McKinley Station of Earth, of North America. There's not too much cloud cover. South America's covered, and everyone is almost teary-eyed. Quite a view. Thanks, Reg. Okay, then we go to how they're going to they have 11 minutes a day, right? That they're voyaging somewhere far away, obviously. So they're going to get 11 minutes a day. So they have kind of like a lottery, 146 sequentially numbered isolinear chips. I don't know if that part's important. And they have, they're going to have a drawing of that. Each chip, you get 3 minutes of comm time for your loved ones. So I guess maybe they get 3 people a day. And someone's got their mom's birthday coming up. It'd be a great present. Who else? Everyone else is calling. Somebody's going to call their sister. Janeway's going to call her mother. Who is the doctor going to call? Barclay or Zimmerman? No, I don't know. So they start drawing them. Somebody gets number 6. 1:30. So he's going to miss his mom's birthday. And the doctor got number 1. Tuvok is the person handing him out. People talk about trading. And, because I want to talk to my mother, wish I could help. But the doctor has an important call to make. But another character says, I could trade with you. I'm not in a hurry. Okay, then we have the doctor communicating with a blue man. Not from the Blue Man Group, but from some sort of publishing group, talking about the positive reviews the doctor's going to get. modern day Tolstoy. And 7 is listening in, 6 to 7, I think. And the doctor says, well, this is only a working draft. I'm still going to do revisions. And then the blue publisher says, okay, quickly, though, we got to get this book out. He says, so tell me, what did you think of the characters? Real, compelling, forgot they were holograms. But I don't know. I was like trying to sense if this person was being genuine or not about their compliments and stuff to tell. The doctor says, who's your favorite? Oh, I like Lieutenant Blank. And then call ends. Time expired. And the doctor says, you could have let him finish. And she says, well, I believe you got enough props out of that. So he's like, oh, man. Then he's whistling. He goes into some sort of working room. And did you talk to Reg? No, I was talking to my publisher. Do they publish the Dixon Hill series, which is also, that was, it's another callback to that was who Picard was. At least I remember that. I mean, maybe even incorrectly. Well, they're about to publish my work, holo novel or whatever, holographic narrative. And the other guy says, congrats. So what's it about? And he says, it's the adventures of an intrepid doctor. Sounds like fun. I never thought that guy also is a writer. Hey, maybe I've got my stuff I'm working on, Captain Proton. And the doctor says, well, this is sophisticated. And he says, what do you mean, Captain Photon's not sophisticated? But then he says, no, don't worry. I'll tell him. I'll think about it. And the guy says, well, can I try it? And he goes, well, it's not quite ready yet. Oh, please, come on, let me try it. He goes, okay, yeah, I could use your opinion on it. You're a fellow author. I'll cover the rest of your shift if you go. So they work together somewhere. And what's it called? Photons Be Free. Photons Be Free is like catchy, which reminds me of like, it kind of sounds like the original Epcot Center. There was Fun to Be Free, which I think was in the World of Motion. But Photons Be Free would be a good, I don't know which pavilion. There was in Disneyland well before my time, the thing where he got miniaturized. And then they had that in the body, but that was a little bit different narrative in the Wonders of Life Pavilion, which I still wonder, why did they, I wonder, why did they ever close the Wonders of Life Pavilion? Like, what, I don't know. Why did they close that? But, yeah, so did I ever cover that? Should do an episode about that at some point too. But anyway, okay, so, Photons Be Free. I can just hear it in like the Disney kind of melody ride, the old Epcot Center ride melody singing. I don't know if that's post Sherman Brothers or still the Sherman Brothers were writing those songs, but, I mean, you'd have to change it from Fun to Be, it'd have to be a different song, because they already had Fun to Be Free, to be on the move, but I'm sure they could have came up with it. I don't know what Disney, maybe Photons of Imagination, maybe Figment could let photons loose. Again, I doubt anybody but I do have an entire reimagining of the Figment ride, which I'm like 99% certain would be effective at achieving the purpose of Figment about the journey it'd be a new journey in the imagination. So you could reach out. I may have even done an episode about it, but I don't remember. But have a you wouldn't even have to re-put it. You could use the current ride vehicles, and we just remodel. Like again, so I try to save you money. Anyway, back to the Discovery. Okay, so this dude heads out. We learn his name eventually. I have it written down, but. Okay, so we start with the beginning again of this writer writing, like the kind of whatever you do at the beginning of the book, but not really, because and then he says, welcome, because it's interactive. You made an excellent choice. You're about to take part in a thrilling first-person narrative. You'll take on the role of a medical hologram on the Starship Vortex. And there's an anomaly, so you're going light years across the galaxy, and you got to uphold your standards. But crew is not friendly to photons. By the way, this is a ride, so you got to make sure you're ready. Now let me acknowledge Louis Zimmerman, creator of my Holo Matrix, made it possible for me. So that'd be another rabbit hole we could go down, the Louis Zimmerman rabbit hole. Much like the Daystrom Institute and everything like that. But we like, and the other guy is like, how long? I think he has a French name, maybe. We'll figure it out. But he says, how long is this introduction? Skip to the 9 minutes, 4 seconds. It's less than a Sleep With Me introduction. In fact, it's like at least 50% less than a Sleep With Me introduction. Skip to the first chapter, he says. Here's another thing, just putting pitches out there while people are sleeping. There's a lot of new Star Trek shows. How about a little subplot with sleep? Like I could do a Sleep With Me, like a holo Sleep With Me. I mean, I might even write that as a song for that, a hall of Sleep With Me, but this would be a holo Sleep With Me. When photons could be free there. Chapter 1, Helper is born. So then the guy becomes the doctor. He's looking at resonance level. They're like, hey, we need some, caretaking here. Can you come into this caretaking room? You got it. How can I help? Can you figure out how we can help these people? Oh, sure, that's my job. Yeah, this person needs some helping. And this one needs more helping. Okay, so you take that person over to the next room. I'll help there. Then they bring someone else in. He's also made changes to the character's looks, I think, slightly maybe. And so then this character meets himself, but he has a mustache. So in the Holo novel, he has a mustache. He says, how can I help? Nothing. Let me just scan you. Okay, you need to lie down for a while and get some rest. And I have to go. Or Marseille is his name. Yeah, I knew it was French. Or French-esque, like a French city, or region. Okay, so he says, no, you got to help this guy rest now. And he says, well, that's not how resting works. I'll go help other people while he rests. He goes, but that's the way resting works. You have to rest over time. Time takes time. And this guy's like, I don't even know. Hey, listen, hologram, get to work. Speed up the resting period. And he goes, but that's not a holographic capability. And then Captain Janeway comes and she says, what's going on? And he says, this hologram's not speeding time up. And she says, I need you to speed up time, like for my helmsman, Marseille. And he goes, well, I have other work I need to do while he rests. And she says, hey, whatever the other people you're supposed to help, we'll have them off, unloaded to another care station. There's one right here. So you can get to work right now and this person resting, hologram. And he says, but I'm not, it kind of goes to commercial because he's like, he's got to rest. And they say, yeah, have him rest now, immediately, hologram. And he says, so then they go to commercial on a good acting face, Okay, so then they're at like a cafe on the ship. And this guy, Marseille, he does seem charismatic. And he's holding court with two other crew members who are like laughing. I believe later in the episode, like one of the characters is his wife. I'm seeing that she's wearing a ring. So he's holding court for his wife, and maybe I don't know if this guy's his bestie or what. There's also apples available. Interesting, they have bowls of apples. I wonder if you replicate that a bowl at a time or an apple at a time in the replicator. And then I also wonder, I'm sure maybe it's been covered, I would assume so, that is there like farmers markets or like a comparison, like how good is the replication? Because not that I don't have anything, again, I don't got anything against replicators, okay? I mean, I would love to have, by the way, if you want to give me one, but I'm just curious as a person that, thinks in meanders, like not that there has to be a difference between a real apple and a perfectly replicated apple, but that would be a whole niche thing, well, I don't eat replicated food, So, just curious. But he's holding court telling them about the thing and how wild it was, but that it takes place on the ship, but just everybody has a different name. Crimbletory, Marseille. That's creative. Doctor thinks it's a masterpiece. I don't know what to tell him. And they all start worrying about themselves. This is going to be embarrassing for us in the ship. We don't refer to holograms as holograms. We're polite to them. And we don't demand that people rest. Everyone knows you got to rest. Time takes time. We better talk to the captain. And she says, are you sure you're not jealous or taking it personally? I mean, you were the holodeck writer. Me? Jealous, he says? Come on. I mean, maybe a little bit, but... why don't you try it? Then he says, okay, why don't you all try the program? Which to Tuvok or whatever, he says, interesting. So then we get another thing. Someone comes in to meet for the care person. And then Marseille comes in. He says, it's Marseille. So Marseille's wife is the one participating in the holo novel now. So he comes in and he says to her, who's the doctor now, hey, you got to get down to check on this plasma stuff. We got plasma stuff downstairs. But meanwhile, there's something else going on. And then he's not nice to her. He goes, you can't just leave, like holograms have to have a mobile emitter. And she goes, oh yeah, it's a giant heavy backpack. And he goes, come on, get your backpack and go check on the plasma. She goes, I got to carry this giant backpack around? Yeah, that's your mobile emitter. Don't you read the manual or anything? Come on. She's like, this is 50 kilos. And he's like, you're lucky to go out and clean up some plasma. Come on. So she heads out. She looked for this plasma that's got it cleaned up on a different part of the ship. And... people are talking about dilithium matrices and Ferengi garbage, and she goes, is there any plasma around? I was supposed to vacuum it up. And they say, you're not allowed in engineering. And she goes, well, I got sent down here to clean up plasma. And they say, well, it doesn't matter. You're not allowed here. She goes, but I'm here to clean up the plasma. And they go, well, they sent me down here to clean up the plasma. She goes, your auditory subroutines are malfunctioning. I can't believe your matrix is totally, like, not helpful. She goes, you know what? I'm your shipmate. It'd be nice to be polite. And she goes, no, you're not a shipmate. You're a program. So can you get back to work in your office? And she says something about a spanner, which is kind of like a bigger square screwdriver. But then she goes and there's some hand-holding going on. Marseille and another officer are holding hands. She goes, interesting. You sent me out so you could hold hands with one another, huh? And and the guy goes, I'm gonna have you forget about it. And we realize this guy's up to something. Then we have Captain Janeway. Then there's a new chapter. Tuvok's now the doctor. I think that's his name. And Janeway's talking to him, and she goes, I've been doing an inventory of your holo matrix, 50 gigaquads of memories, music, daydreams, and, your heart pitter-pattering, 10 gigaquads of that. She goes, these are extracurricular subroutines. They aren't necessary. And she goes, do you have anything to say? He goes, I do have something to say. These are, you might think they're trivial, but they make me a better doctor, better person. She goes, but you're a subroutine, not a person. Just because you act like a person and look like a person doesn't mean you have personhood. Tuvok, I think Tuvok here. And they say, take the EMH to the holo lab, get rid of these subroutines. And another one of the guys has a goatee I don't think he has a goatee. Okay, then they go into the next chapter, and another one of the engineers is there. They get on the elevator. He gets on the elevator with himself and the guy with the goatee. And they says, should we tinker with his matrix or what? He goes, we need him. He's supposed to be helpful for us in this quadrant. I don't know if we should reprogram him. What if he doesn't work right after that? And that guy doesn't like how his character's thing. And then 6 of 7 comes. She says, I'll escort him. She's wearing a blinking necklace. 3 of 8, she is there. And they say, you're too sympathetic to this holo matrix. So step aside. And she says, oh, okay, I'll step aside. So they all step out of the elevator. And she does this. She's got this wrist thing that she uses. She does a dance off. And she says, Doctor, hit the road. But he doesn't get far because, there's like the force fields. So then they say, all right, we're escorting you to remove your subroutines. And then Janeway's the one doing it. So they have 7 of 8 or 3 of 8 or whatever. And Janeway's talking to Janeway's the doctor. You're going to be decompiled. And we'll we're going to put you in deep sleep unless you unless we need you. And the 7A says, but he has a right to update his programming and stay on. And one day the EMH they'll be seen as sentient, intelligent individuals with a passion for life. Come on. Just because we're thousands of light years from home, one day, this is part of the song, photons will be free. She says, nice speech, decompile. And then Janeway's looking at Janeway, and of course she doesn't like the fictional Janeway because she's a little stern. Then we get the wrap up, like the postscript of the novel from the author again. Like all elements of fiction has truth, but this is not real. These are fictional characters. This is about what it's like to be a hologram in a non-hologram world of organics. And Janeway says, I got to talk to the doctor. Report to my ready room. We go to commercial. We come back, and he says, what do you want me to say? This is fictional. It's not the Voyager. It's the Vortex. They say, come on, the characters are exactly like us. They look like us. He goes, yeah, because I had to write what I know. It's just coincidental. Really, don't take it personally. They say, but it's the same ship and story as ours is real. He goes, well, what am I going to do? Write something that I don't know? And so this is about the Voyager or not? No, it's a vortex, larger than life, nothing like our crew. None of you have done the things the characters did. And Janeway says, yeah, it's imaginative, but conceivable that it would confuse regular people. And they would think it's faction. And they go, what about that mobile emitter backpack? He goes, that's a metaphor, man. That's what it feels like to be me. Carrying around you guys on my back. Burdens I live with every day. I have to take my emitter, even though it's small, wherever I go. It's like, that letter in the color of scarlet. But different. Janeway goes, no, it's not. That's liberating. He goes, you might see it that way, but I don't see it that way. And she goes, are you trying to tell us something through this story? Is this how you see yourself? He goes, either you can, he goes, do you know what's going on in the Alpha Quadrant? EMH Marks 1s, they're like me, but they have to work, not in like a professional manner, scrubbing conduits and mining dilithium. And, so read between the lines, if it's possible. Vedic song, occupation of Bajor. And Janeway says, I get it, but think about how this makes people feel that are portrayed and as characters that are similar to them. And he's not taking it. He says, oh, I'm sorry that, he goes, but this is, I'm expressing myself, and if you don't like it, I got to deal with it, so be it. And he heads off. Then we get another kind of the B-plot. The guy's talking to his mom for her birthday, and his dad's there, and she's a teacher's mom. She goes, hey, can you do something for my class about what it's like to command a starship? And 7 of 8's listening in. He says, oh, I'm not a commander. She goes, but in your letters you talk about being in command. He goes, well, one time I touched the controls twice a week. I'm on the night shift. She goes, oh, well, we're just so proud of you. Are you going to get a promotion? I mean, it's got to be hard to have somebody listening in. I would definitely, put it in the comment box. Hey, is there a way not to listen into my calls? And the mom says, she says, I'm going to send Captain Janeway a letter. He goes, Mom, please, no. So very cute and realistic. Solar flare messing the beam up. And he's trying to tell his mom not to send a letter. She's saying she's going to. And they lose the signal. And he's like, I can't believe this. I still had a minute and a half left. She goes, well, 2 months from now, you'll have another call. And he says, you don't get it either, huh? You're about as, because you don't have anybody, like you, why don't you try calling somebody? Okay, then we got the doctor's log. Talks about the decision. Now he's not popular anymore, but I'm not compromising. Final revisions. Then I'm going to submit the manuscript. So then he goes in to do some revisions. He says, run the program. And Marseille's there instead of him. And he's rewritten it to mess with the doctor. Which is not very kind. And he says, oh, yeah, you're going to, so he's doing a snarky version of it where it's about him being the assistant on the Starship Voyager. You have to assist to this guy who's, not nice and over the top. And patience is a virtue, though. He goes, so it's... I guess his name's Paris, so Marseille is that makes sense. So then he has a portrayal of the doctor in 7 of 8 that they're holding hands, and the doctor has a lot of rules. He's like, you need to stick to the rules. I got to go golfing. And then he says, okay, 1 of 3 instead of 7 of 8. I'm 2 of 3. And the doctor even has snarky jokes. So it's a really unflattering portrayal of him. And I mean, from my experience, not what he's like. He says, okay, let's put we gotta do it because we're going to use aromatherapy on this one. She has the same blinking necklace. I wonder if she always has that. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. So it's interesting to try to learn. The doctor's like, I can't believe this. So then he goes to Paris, Marseille. He says, I can't believe this. I'm going to tell on you. He goes, oh, tell me about what? He goes, you reprogrammed my holo novel without permission. A hackneyed narrative. He goes, that was a work of art. It took me months to make. He goes, relax, man. I saved it as backup. Just trying to make a point. What's your point? You're not subtle. So they're going back and forth. He says, you're like a Ferengi dance-off. And He goes, this is not, he goes, I don't like how it's portrayed. And the guy goes, oh, it wasn't you. It was a character similar to you, but over the top. So how does it like, so this is again, like this thing of like, you know, like when people are like, oh, well, if you're unhappy with me, I'm going to be unhappy with you, you know, kind of thing. But the real thing of the doctor saying, if you could see past everything, you could see what my novel's really about, but they can't see past the forest for the trees or the trees for the forest. And then Paris Marseille says, are you sure I'm not like my character? Is that how you really see me? He goes, no, you're a new married man about to have a child. I don't think you're like your character. You got a lot of responsibilities. And the guy says, I think you think I'm a joke. State of 15, that's where the program is, backed up. And then the doctor's thoughtful. They go to an ad break. They're both somewhat thoughtful at the end of it. So then he's looking, thinking. Then Tuvok comes in, says, hey, I got to talk to you. And by the way, I've been writing a cookbook and cooking with Neelix. So maybe his name's Neelix. And it's a holo cookbook. Could you get me with your publisher during my comlink? And the guy goes, are you looking for writing tips? There's plenty of other know-it-alls on this ship. And the guy goes, I liked your novel. I really liked the content. Yeah, rousing adventure, important message. And the doctor says, yeah. And this is like his good, really good interpersonal work. Because he goes, yeah, I thought the crew would be happy. He goes, yeah, you're going to reach a wide audience. Maybe you don't care about your shipmates. Well, they're my friends. You don't want to, oh, well, maybe there's a Talaxian expression. When the road splits, before he splits in two, take the third path. And he goes, what does that mean? He goes, maybe make some adjustments. Don't do it all or nothing. More subtle. Not the Voyager and not the Voyager. Goes, don't change the theme. And he goes, but that would be a lot of work. And I have to have a final draft tomorrow. And then the guy says, why don't you use my time to ask for an extension? So this is like just a little bit past the midpoint, actually. So he asks for an extension. The publisher's like, but this is so good. And he goes, yeah, but a little too good. Publisher says, I don't think it's necessary. He says, yeah, no, I'm going to rewrite it. I got friends here. And the publisher goes, okay. So then he tells everybody, don't worry. I decided to rewrite it, full rewrite. My publisher's going to hold it. And people are still unhappy, but then they say, yeah, no, we get it. Thank you for taking our feelings into account. How long is this going to take? Art can't be rushed. Take your time, doctor. Okay, and then he talks to Paris Marseille. He apologizes to him. He says, hey, you want to help me rewrite it? Yeah, maybe. Because the guy goes, well, I'm just into that other, I write in a different style. Goes, yeah, lower brow style, but you could help me still. Then we see Paris Marseille and his wife. She's trying to decide if she wants to speak with her father, who she hasn't spoken to in a long time. And she goes, I was already supposed to talk to my cousin with my talk time. And he says, why don't you wait a couple of weeks to talk to your father? And she goes, I wouldn't even know what to say. And then he goes, well, let him do the talking. So then he's talking to her father, and he's like, holy cow, you're going to have a baby, huh? And it's awkward, very awkward. And the husband's there. And then, yeah, we've been thinking about names, huh? And your mom would have liked the name you picked out. I was on Keswick 4 a few months ago. I drove by our old house. Had 30 seconds left. She said, listen, Daddy, I got less than a minute. You actually have less than half a minute. Why are you calling me? What's the big deal? And he goes, yeah, it's been a while, but I know I can't change things now, but I wanted to start changing things. Because your ship was like, we didn't know where it was for a long time. So I'm not expecting, time takes time, they say. in the third path. They say, okay, time's up. And she goes, okay, I'll send you a letter. And he smiles, and then it goes out. But then 7 of 8's like kind of developing this deeper understanding of this longing to communicate with loved ones, which at first, which I can relate, she thought it was like a bit trivial. Then we're in San Francisco at the Communications Research Center. Reg Barkley and the Admiral are talking about this holo novel that takes place on the Discovery, or a ship like it. It's very popular. And the Admiral says, I don't appreciate your affinity for holo stuff. He goes, well, because this isn't a flattering portrayal of the Voyager. The Admiral goes, wait a second, what? So then on the next time the comms are up, the Admiral wants to talk to Janeway. Dubious privilege of a novel written by your EMH. I'm surprised you allowed him to publish it. She goes, he didn't. He's making revisions. It wasn't scheduled to be published. Well, it has been. Mr. Barkley says it's thousands of holo suites. It's popular. So then they have to have a meeting, Oh, no, then they meet with the publisher. He says, I told you not to recall every copy and issue a public apology. Publisher says, nah. And Janeway says, yeah, no, you do need to do that. Authors have rights. And he goes, not in this case, actually. The doctor's a hologram. And he says, so? And he goes, well, holograms don't have publishing rights, actually. And Janeway looks at him. I mean, this is kind of an issue with my voice and the style of the show now, you know? So try to figure that out. But then they go back, and he meets with kind of a Vulcan that's an expert, I think, on this kind of stuff. He says, well, technically he's right. But we could say, we could try to have Starfleet request it gets recalled. But they said, well, that's not perfectly honest. So, and they said, but it's not nice to have, it's fiction. So we can't do that, but we could try. But what about the doctor? And the doctor says, but this is about the crew and their feelings. She goes, I don't know. I think it's your reputation. And you published this, you wrote it. So you have the right to, I'm not going to let the publisher say that you were in the act of creation. Publishing gives you the copyright. So they do another captain's log. They're having arbitration, so he can control his artistic creation. But they have to do 9 minutes a day. It takes 3 days about. So first they have the opening thing. Your doctor should be able to control his publishing. Well, it was published by EMH. This is something called Toby the Targ. That wrote something. And they go, okay, so you can say the doctor created this. Yeah, but the replicator created this cup of coffee. That's what the publisher says. So should the replicator decide whether I can drink it or not? And the Vulcan says, intriguing, but that's not composing music, painting landscapes, or doing delicate work. Can you do any of that stuff? Do you publish respected original works of literature? The guy says, yeah. Okay, so this holo novel is such a work? Well, some aspects are derivative, but mostly. Has there ever been another work written about a hologram trying to get through this stuff? Not that I know of. Okay, so it is an original work, I guess. And then they say Section 7, Gam of 12, defines the artist, person who creates an original artistic work. So he's an artist. I mean, I don't want to quote Fish, but an artist he may be. So he gets all the rights as accorded an artist. Then the arbiter, which always reminds me of StarCraft too, goes, well, there's a flaw in your logic. Because officially, artistic work must be by a person. EMHs have not been granted personhood. And we got to stop for the day. Barkley says, So we'll meet tomorrow. And the doctor's a little frowny. Goes, what do you think? No, I'm sorry. This is frustrating. He goes, yeah, well, imagine I'm being equivocated with a replicator. Oh, so Tuvok is the Vulcan. Okay. He goes, but okay, so if you can't, then the contract doesn't work then. He goes, if he can't enter into an agreement, a replicator can't either. And Janeway says, nope, we're proving his personhood. That's what we're going to do. We're going to tell your story, your real life story, and we're going to have other people tell it. So then the crew tells the story of all that he's done and become and how they've changed, including, helping others and holding hands, self-expression, guidance, and changing attitudes and actions, and wanting to learn and grow, and be more capable. Okay. Well, yeah, it can be modified, the Arbiter says. No, he has a desire to be more than he is, just like any other person. Then Barclay argues, I don't know. Like he looked at Zimmerman like his father, and he wanted to show his father what he'd become, so his father would be proud of me. And his father was. And then Janeway says, and he doesn't always listen either, so that shows that he's imperfect. He goes, well, it's not admirable. She goes, no, it's human. If you don't listen all the time, he was programmed to listen 100% of the time, and that he's capable of thinking for himself, again, shows agency. So I'd have to say, this is pretty clear. We went through this with Android, proto brains or whatever they have, positronic matrices. So let's expand the definition. This is an space is a place where we evolve beyond our limited capacities. 7 years ago, I didn't know that EMH could be a valued member of our crew and my friend. Doctor is a person. So it's simple as I can say it. So listen up. So that's the only conclusion you can make. Pretty simple. The Arbiter takes a breath. He goes, okay, I need 2 days to think about this. We get a series of shots of faces. Then we see the Voyager. Or the Voyager, right? Okay, then we have 7 of 8 gives her chip to the guy to sing to his mom. 3 minutes calm time tomorrow. It's if you want to finish your conversation with your mom, that's fine. He goes, oh, no, I overreacted. I wasn't nice to you. She goes, well, I understand why you were. She goes, but I've been watching the crew and their family interactions, and I can see how meaningful it is. He says, well, even though this is a B plot, it's A plot for us, huh? And she goes, yeah. He goes, why don't you take this chip back and contact someone you could be close to or you are close to? She goes, unfortunately, my parents joined the Borg, and she goes, but my father does have a sister, Irene Hansen. He goes, well, give Irene a call. I guess technically she's your aunt, eh? So she calls Irene, who's beside herself. I'm so happy to hear from you. She's got plants. It's funny because she says, well, I was also waiting. She goes, you seem great. She goes, when I met you when you were 6, you were very strong-minded. I spent a weekend with you. You were not pleased with me. She goes, this was quite an experience. Such a child. I mean, I love it. You were like a kid. She goes, that must have been very inconvenient for you. She goes, oh, I coaxed you out with some strawberry tarts. And she goes, oh, yeah, I'm fond of strawberries. I didn't realize I ate them as a child. Oh, you love strawberries. She goes, you even knew if they were ripe or not. She goes, oh, I'm sorry that I was so precocious. She goes, precocious is a good thing. I'm glad you reached out to me, Annika. It's so good to connect with you. And we have some kind of melting feelings there. We get Discovery again. The Arbiter's laying out he says, okay, yeah, here's the thing. Doctor does have a lot of humanity, intelligent, creativity, ambition, fallibility. These are just, are they real or simulated is the question. And I don't know. And I don't know who this actor is, but he has a great voice. He was on other shows. He goes, okay, but this issue is important. It's not going to go away. But I don't know if I'm the right person to make the definitive decision on this. However, it's not like this is like outside of the norm. So while I can't make a ruling on personhood, I can say that he's an artist and that an artist has the right to control their work. So I'm recalling the holo novels till they're rewritten. And there's thank yous all around and smiles and relief. And she goes, this is great. You got the first thing for holo people, holo victory, he says. Thousands of people already watched it. So are you still mad at me because I made parodies all you? And she goes, you got to find another publisher, Doctor. You can do just about anything you set your mind to. And then we see another ship traveling the Federal Dilithium Processing Facility, Alpha Quadrant, 4 months later. And these other versions of him are telling each other, hey, there's a holo novel out there about us, published by one of us. You got to watch it. 47 Beta's the program. What is it? Photons Be Free. It's provocative. It's cool. Check it out. So then another, they're all like, but they're all having to work with this dilithium stuff. And they don't even have like overalls on. So that's how we ended. And it's a pretty good episode and a lot of good questions. And I didn't even realize the questions that kind of connected with sleep with me. Because even right now, there's like, even on Sleep With Me Plus, I see the companies with their emails. I'm like, are they trying to like, and people have reached out to me, hey, would you want to work with me? I've created a fake version of you. And it's like, yeah, no. So anyway, sleep well. This is Real Scoots, and I'm really glad to be here with you tonight and really happy to explore all these new things together and return to the things you love and help you drift off into dreamland. Thanks. Good night. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots tucking you in, but I got a question. Do you feel tucked in by your current mattress? Because I tell you what, I do. I love my Helix mattress. Before it came, I was sleeping in a temporary mattress, and it did not suit me. And it did not set me up for a good day every day with the aches and pains and the tossing and the turning. And a quality mattress that fits your sleep needs, your feel preferences, does make a big difference in looking forward to going to bed, being comfortable in bed, and being rested throughout the day. And for me, taking that Helix quiz, getting matched with a mattress because I like to sleep cool. I sleep on my side. I sleep on my stomach. I wanted something firmer. It made a big difference. But what about you? Think about the mattress you're in right now. And then take that Helix quiz, helixsleep.com/sleep. It'll match you with the perfect mattress based on your personal preferences and sleep needs. It makes buying a mattress so easy. You know, Helix is an awarded mattress brand. I mean, it's got the Scoot seal of approval, but it's also been tested and reviewed by experts like Forbes and Wired. Helix delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping in the U.S., and you can rest easy with seamless returns and exchanges. The Happy with Helix guarantee offers a risk-free customer-first experience designed to ensure you're completely satisfied with your new mattress. There's a 120-night sleep trial and a limited lifetime warranty. And Helix helps you sleep better. They even did a study where they found that 82% of those involved saw an increase in their deep sleep cycle while sleeping on a Helix mattress. And they got a deal waiting just for you. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep to see the latest offers for Sleep With Me listeners. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for current offers. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody.